When someone we care about dies, it can cause a whole mixture of confusion and very upsetting emotions for everyone. Sometimes we talk about the 7 stages of grief. We say people experience shock, denial, guilt, bargaining, anger, depression, and eventually acceptance. But these different emotions can feel very different for each of us and may come in a different order, may ease and then come back. The most important thing is to recognise that everyone does experience powerful feelings of loss. There is no right way or wrong way to grieve. It can feel overwhelming at times, but given the support and time to grieve, it will become easier. We would like to share with you some of our own experiences of grief. My close friend David, who we lost just over 4 years ago, and the amount of time that I knew my friend David, which was over 30 years, and then losing my best friend, it hurt. I felt lost, lonely, seeing my friend daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, etc. And it felt numb.
My mum had cancer and she died of cancer. She died at home. She suffered about 15 years of breast cancer. Didn't complain to me dad and me and my sister once about it.
I want to explain. Like you said, grief is, nobody knows what you're going through till you've been there, right? And you don't understand it. People say, oh, you come out of it, you'll be alright, you'll be alright. But sometimes you're not alright. You know, like that. Like you got your family, but you can't explain to your family what you're going through.
Yeah, I've had mates and family who passed away, and I think it's hard because sometimes I felt like when people deteriorate, it I cope with it better, but having people who died very quickly was the hardest thing to go through. I think to have people around me who is caring, helped, and have people go straight after each other. There's not been a year that someone hasn't passed away that I'm close to, and how to deal with that. Mentally, it links onto my self-harm, and I think now I deal with it better because of the DAVID Project. I balled it all up and hardened it.
I started at Cuba College in 2007 and I met a girl called Laura, and she was doing level 1 of childcare and I was doing the same course. We got chatting, and then every time we went to lunch she didn't really eat nothing as much, so I got her to share half of my chips with something to go, and we went down to the canteen to have them chips, and she was getting, because I had my half brother who went to the same college, he didn't like something to get on chips, but we got him to get half one, and his face was all like that, and me and Laura was laughing our heads off. And then we went for walks around the gardens and outside Hubert College. Then she told me that she had cancer of the back of the brain and on the spine, and I was in total shock. And then we got really close over the phone. We always sat together. I always put pen and paper on the desk for her when she comes in. And then one day she just didn't come in at all.
My mum was a nurse, but she gave it up when she had her first child. But then she went back to work not long before she died. She was a nurse in the Royal Hospital. And then they found out that she had breast cancer. And then she had to leave. She got secondary cancer, she got brain cancer, and basically got told she wouldn't survive after that. She got told 3 years, but I, for some reason, thought it was 3 years that she was told, but she only got told 1. So, but I've got audio processing disorder, so I might have remembered wrong. So I was expecting to have her a bit longer, which I was a bit hard for our family, because there's a lot of us, and she only lasted 3 months, but she got liver cancer, and they weren't sure if it was lung cancer as well, so she had a few, but she was at home when she died. I've got 6 sisters and 2 brothers, and my youngest sister was only 7 when my mum died, so she hit it a lot.
But I knew that David was in a place where he was closer to me, which is up in heaven, and he was looking down at me, saying to me, be happy, continue with what you're doing towards what I do towards people First Merseyside, help support people out to the best of, just like I did, and I'll be by your side.
I don't talk about my dad. I keep it inside me. Now and again, I go in the other world. I'll close up different things. I go quiet. And that.
When my nan passed away 6 years ago on my birthday, and I am the one who found her body in a flat on my birthday with my mum, and she's not answering, and I thought, oh, this is not my nan. So we went in and we saw her, and we thought she was asleep. So I checked her pulse, and she's gone because she's blue, and I was crying because she was my solo mate. I was close to her, took her out everywhere.
My mum passed away going back ages ago, I think about 30 odd years, but it's still in my memory, and it just can't get out of my memory. She died from pancreas cancer. I'm the one that found her in the bedroom. I asked her if she was okay, and she said yes. She didn't want to be disturbed.
I have to be strong for my kids, like that at the same time. Then I have to be strong with the family. Then I have to be strong with my brother. But nobody knew what I was going through.
Heartbreaking. Shock at first. Go numb. Don't really believe, but you know it's true. It's like the world's just ripped away from you.
firstly, one day I got a phone call from my sister and she said, can you ring Laura about 6 o'clock today? She's got a puppy, but her cancer's come back. And she was, she only just like turned 18, like she was 22nd of February. She turned 18 and she said, don't tell her that she's got cancer, the cancer's back, don't tell her at all. She's got a puppy, don't tell her you know about the puppy, let her tell you. So when 6 o'clock came, I went to the phone box and rang Laura, and Laura was like in shock, telling me, how did you get my number? I said, oh, your sister passed me because she knew that you were my best friend. So she said, oh, she was so happy to talk to me. She said, oh, I got a puppy, you know, called Bailey. I said, oh, that's nice, what's the dog's name? Bailey, and it's a cocker spaniel. And then she said, can you come down on Saturday? So I said, yeah, I'll come down.
What happened, I should have been there on her last day, but I was here when she died, and I felt like, oh, I should have been there, because last time I saw her was a couple of weeks before she died, and then I saw her on the day she died. So I felt that grief and guilt for 6 years.
Lovely Sandy. Sandy was a very strong dog. She used to pull my hair then everywhere. Now I'm taking her for a walk, she'd take me for a walk. She loved jumping about in the fields. And when the funniest memory we went on holiday, she used to bark at the statues.
So, my granddad was probably the one that was the hardest. I wanted my granddad to pass away. And that can sound weird to some people, but in his pain I always say, you let a dog down, why can't you pull a human down? He had emphysema and everything, and in one point he deteriorated that much that he couldn't even stand up. And he felt embarrassed and ashamed, but knowing how much love I had for him, in the end, it was horrible to see him that way. I think, like, being one of the youngest in my family as well, to actually cope with that, and it lasted for a long time. My nan went quickly, and my nan was healthy and took more care of me, and she done a lot of stuff to help my mum out, and she ended up passing away about 2-3 years later.
Talk about my dad. I even go round with dad meets, talk about him, and that. I go with that grave and all that. Just stand there on a quiet.
Well, his belongings went to Sefton Council, and if going by the funeral itself, if we hadn't have seen Dave Willis, who was the pastor of the church that he went to, David's funeral wouldn't have been the funeral that he did get. He would have been put in a graveyard and not had a plaque, stone, or it just would have been in no man's land.
Well, during the DAVID Project and before we did it, I realised I was stuck in the past, mentally in the past, that my head was still, when I was 16, I grew up and everything, but I was still in the past. My head was still 16-year-old girl going through a lot of stuff with the family and my dad dying, and because my dad was the sort of linchpin of the family, sort of like you never like back chatted to my dad, and he was like the law in the house.
You've just gotta, I know it sounds weird, but you just have to slowly get back into a routine. It takes time. I went through a stage of going to see the doctor, tell them how you feel. I've gone through, I tried counselling, but I couldn't talk about it. Some people react differently to others, like some people need more time to process that it happens rather than others. Some people can go to counselling and talk about it, but I find it really hard. But in some ways I regretted that. So I tell people to look that up, to do that, and to try their best to do that, because it's took me quite a while to get to the point where I'm moving on properly and not thinking I'm gonna burst into tears every time someone mentions my mum to me. So it took me a while, but mostly with friends though, if I'm talking about my mum, I seem to manage it with my family. I think that's, you tend to have your family support. If you're with them, you don't really think about it as much because you're thinking about the people you have in the room.
So on Saturday, I went up and she was so annoyed because she wasn't dressed, she was still in her pyjamas. And I went up, she said, I don't want to see her yet, I'm not dressed. So I said to her, it's fine. So I went upstairs and she was telling me, oh, I can't wait to go back to college, I can't wait to do McDonald's with you. And I was like, in my head I was saying, you're not going to do them things. It's like I told, like, she only got a couple of weeks left to live. So I was just like saying, oh yeah, I can't wait for you to come back to college too. And then the following week, I couldn't go up because the priest was down there. And then the week after, I went up with a teddy bear with a pink jacket, a pink jumper on, a card, a few gifts, and then that was the last time I saw her.
The house is not the same without my mum. I don't upset myself as much, and I just have nice memories of my mum. And quite a long time ago, my dad and my mum always wanted to drive abroad. My dad drove to Greece in the car, just me, my mum and my dad in the car, and that was a lovely experience. We would love to do it again.
It used to be good. You used to be fantastic. Help me. You used to be take me in the car to do me judo and that. I miss him and that.
I knew that he was always with me. And from his death 4 years ago till now, he's with me every day. He's walking by the side of me. He's with me at this moment in here, in First Merseyside. I can see him, although he's, invisible. He is still with me. his spirit's still with me. And towards people around me, they are still with them as well. With this project of the David Project, we are doing what we're doing to help what happened to David not happen to people with learning disabilities again, including obviously the people having a say of what they want come the end of life.
So the following Saturday, on the 26th of April 2008, I had a phone call from a sister crying, but at first I thought it was Laura that she found out she had cancer, but it wasn't. It was sister crying her eyes out saying, Laura died in her brother's arms with the teddy that you bought her in her arms. So she died with the teddy in her arms, and I was just bursting into tears. Like, I couldn't, like, I said to her, I'm so sorry. I was crying my eyes out. Then I put the phone down. I went into college on the Monday. I didn't want to go in. I just couldn't handle going in. So I went in anyway, and through the day, a sister rang me and said, can you do a reading on Laura's funeral, and to wear pink. That was her favourite colour. So on the day of the funeral, I wore pink, done the reading, and the mum and dad was like, our family was so thankful for doing the reading. It was like the church was full in St Elizabeth's church, and it was just, after the wake, Laura's favourite song was, well, her favourite artist was Leon Lewis, and that was the same song, the same music I liked. And a moment like this was played in the wake.
When David first started 4 years ago, I joined it, and then I stopped going because I don't want to talk about death or nothing, because I just lost my nan not long ago. Before that project happens, but in the middle of it, in year 3, I started coming back because I need to move on. I need to talk about when I gone and how to plan my own funeral. I want to learn stuff about that, and I have come to terms with it. I want closure. That my nan wanted me to be happy. She wanted me to move on, because every birthday I don't like celebrating it because my nan's not here, and I've got loads of people tell me she wanted you to celebrate it, so I celebrate it because my nan wanted me to, not everyone else wanted me to, but David Project did help me with the griefs of it and come to terms and closure of me face the fact that my nan's not here anymore to comfort me and look after me and that.
It is different every time. I think the older I've got, the more I can handle my emotions. I think I'm very in tune with myself. I think some people with learning disabilities, we don't get taught about our emotions or how to handle it, if you even can talk about it. And I think that's the thing that makes us angry and makes us frustrated, because we've got a label doesn't mean you just don't tell us. I think sometimes I found out stuff later on, or people have made decisions. It's like, I don't want people to make decisions. I want the person to make decisions.
My head was still stuck back then, and it helped me to sort of not forget it, because you can't change who you were back then, but learn from who you were back then and learn to grow as a person. Because you're different people throughout your life, and to who you are now, but you have to remember, not forget the people you were, but remember who you were to understand who you are now.
She was there. She was there. No, she was there. Good company. Yeah, she was nice. She was nice to be around. When she fell ill, I was upset. When my auntie told me that I think maybe had to be put down, I cried my eyes out when she died.
I didn't cope. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to go out. Every time I saw McDonald's, I cried. Every time I saw River Islands, the shop she loved, her clothes was from there. Every time I walked past there, I cried. I couldn't listen to You Raised Me Up for like 10 years. Couldn't listen for 10 years. Like Westlife, You Raised Me Up. Couldn't listen to it. It was just a nightmare. And I was crying all the time. But now I've started listening to it and remembering that she liked that song. So it's maybe in a way it's a good thing to remember her by. And I've never stopped missing her. Every time I see, every time I go to McDonald's, I'm saying hi Laura. Every time I'm going to the past River Island, I'm thinking of Laura. She was my best friend straight through college, and then all of a sudden she's gone.
Look in the future and good memories, and look after one another. I look after my family very, very well.
He's still with us, and he's looking over everyone, including yourself, because and yourself and everyone that we've been in contact with in the beginning. He's looking over us all, and he will be so very, very proud of what we're doing and spreading word further out.
To reach out to people, everyone's there for you. You're not alone in this world. Just everyone's there for each other. You should reach out, because you never know, the person next to you is wanting a friend as well. And talking helps rather than keeping it in.